You see, the tracheal system that powered Meganeura's massive body suddenly couldn't keep up. There simply wasn't enough oxygen to fuel such a large insect anymore. But that wasn't the only problem. Something new was rising. Vertebrates, reptiles, animals with lungs, bones, and more complex physiology. Creatures that didn't depend on external oxygen in the same way. Soon, early reptiles started appearing. Fast, agile, and efficient predators. Ones that Meganeura couldn't outfly or outmaneuver forever. Between the changing climate, the shrinking forests, the drop in oxygen and rising competition, the giants of the air were doomed. And Meganeura, the dragonfly titan, vanished into extinction. But here's the question that keeps scientists awake at night. Could it happen again? If oxygen levels rose, way beyond today's levels, could insects like Meganeura come back? Technically, yes. If the planet were to somehow reach those high oxygen levels again, for thousands, maybe millions of years, the physical constraints that limit insect size would disappear. We could see a return of giant bugs, giant millipedes crawling through forests, spiders bigger than dogs, and dragonflies the size of birds, filling the skies. But there's a dark side. High oxygen isn't just good for insects. It makes the planet dangerously flammable. Forest fires would become massive, frequent, and almost unstoppable. Entire ecosystems could burn to the ground in hours. So while the thought of living alongside creatures like Meganeura sounds like something out of science fiction, in reality, it would be a nightmare. A world where the air itself feeds the fire, and where monsters, once again, rule the skies. Meganeura, the dragonfly, the size of a hawk, that ruled the skies. Imagine stepping into a dense prehistoric jungle. The air is thick, humid, heavy. You hear something, a loud, deep mechanical buzzing. You look up, expecting maybe a bird, maybe some giant bat-like creature. But no, what you see is a dragonfly. A dragonfly the size of a hawk, wings stretching nearly 3 feet across, eyes the size of golf balls, and jaws strong enough to crush flesh and bone. This was Meganeura, one of the largest insects to ever exist on planet Earth. A nightmare with wings that dominated the skies 300 million years ago, long before the age of dinosaurs, during a time known as the Carboniferous period. And trust me, this was no harmless bug. Meganeura was a flying predator, a silent assassin of the ancient world. It hovered over the massive swamp forests, scanning everything below. With perfect vision and pinpoint precision, it would strike, diving at terrifying speeds, grabbing its prey midair with spiked legs and shredding it with powerful mandibles. But how? How could something like this even exist? How does a dragonfly grow to the size of a modern-day falcon? To answer that, we need to go back, way back. The world during the Carboniferous looked nothing like it does today. No grass, no flowering plants, no mammals, no birds. Instead, imagine endless swamps filled with towering ferns, giant horsetails, and trees without leaves, only long, spiny branches reaching toward the sky. The air felt different. It was heavier. Why? Because the Earth's atmosphere wasn't like ours today. Back then, oxygen levels were insanely high. Today, the air you breathe is about 21% oxygen, but during the Carboniferous, it was closer to 35%. That's the highest oxygen level the Earth has ever had. And that changes everything. See, insects don't breathe like mammals. They don't have lungs. Instead, they rely on a network of tiny tubes called tracheae, which bring oxygen directly to their cells. It works perfectly as long as the insect stays small. But when there's more oxygen in the air, a lot more, those tubes become way more efficient. Suddenly, the size limit disappears, and nature doesn't waste the opportunity. This is how the age of the giant insects began. Massive millipedes, like Arthropleura, growing over 8 feet long, cockroaches bigger than your hands, spiders capable of covering dinner plates, and soaring above them all was Meganeura, a dragonfly, but supercharged. Its wings were huge but incredibly lightweight, each wing lined with an intricate network of veins, giving it both strength and flexibility. Its enormous compound eyes provided nearly 360-degree vision, allowing it to detect even the slightest movement from far away. And its hunting style? Brutally effective, hovering quietly like a helicopter, scanning the ground, searching for any sign of life. And when it found something, it attacked, instantly, diving at high speed. Its front legs, armed with sharp spines, snapped shut around its prey like a bear trap. Insects, amphibians, tiny vertebrates. Nothing was safe. It didn't sting. It didn't inject venom. Meganeura simply used brute force, crushing, chewing, and devouring whatever it caught. In the skies of the Carboniferous, Meganeura was the undisputed apex predator. But if it was so perfectly adapted, why did it vanish? Why don't giant insects rule the skies today? The answer is in the air. As the Carboniferous period came to an end, the planet started changing. Fast. Massive shifts in climate dried up the great swamp forests. Global temperatures dropped. New mountain ranges formed, changing wind patterns and reducing humidity. And the oxygen levels began to fall. From a peak of 35%, the oxygen in Earth's atmosphere slowly dropped back toward 21%, the levels we have today. And with it, the giants began to die.